XLR can be used over long distances, right? So you connect a phone or a laptop to a PA using an XLR adapter, and it still sounds like this. In this video, I'll help you understand why this is happening, and I'll help you understand how you can finally get clean audio from the stage to the PA, no matter what you're connecting. Thanks to Radial Engineering for sponsoring this video and supporting audio education. Before we get started, I want to offer you the Cables and Connectors Guide, a free guide that you can use to make sure you're always using the right connector for any audio connection. You can download that with the link below the video or at audiouniversityonline.com/cable guide. The first thing to understand is this. Yes, an XLR is capable of carrying audio signals over very long distances without picking up noise, but to take advantage of the full capabilities of an XLR cable, you'll need more than just a simple adapter. If you're connecting two pieces of pro audio equipment, you'll likely be connecting a balanced output to a balanced input. And in these scenarios, a simple XLR cable is perfectly fine. The problem arises when you need to connect a consumer device or another unbalanced source to a pro audio device, such as a mixer. A common mistake is to use an adapter to convert 3.5 millimeter connectors, RCA connectors, or other unbalanced connectors to XLR. But all this really does is change the connector type without giving you the benefits of an XLR cable. If you run that cable more than about 5 to 8 meters, or 15 to 25 feet, it's going to get very noisy because it's still an unbalanced connection. What you really need is some sort of DI box like this Radial Pro AV2, or an interface like this Radial USB Pro. Devices that are capable of utilizing the XLR connections the way they're intended. In a moment, I'll be showing you a few options that I recommend based on the situation, and you can find links to each one of those in the description below the video. First, I want to take a quick look at what balanced audio is and why it's so important when you're running audio signals over a long distance. Later on, I'll get into some of the other benefits of using a device like these instead of an adapter, but the balanced connection is the most important, especially when it comes to long distance. An unbalanced audio connection like RCA, sometimes called phono or cinch connectors, 3.5 millimeter, sometimes called 1/8 inch or mini jacks, and other unbalanced outputs are intended to be used for very short distances. In an unbalanced connector like this one, there are two contacts. One is connected to ground, and one carries the signal referenced to ground. Note that there are three contacts on a 3.5 millimeter connector, but these are most commonly used for stereo signals, with a signal wire for the left channel, a signal wire for the right channel, and a ground wire. Over long distances, these wires can act as antennas, which will induce nearby electromagnetic noise onto the audio signal. Using only two wires, a balanced connection is still possible, even though cables like XLR and TRS include a third contact, which is connected to the shield of the cable. That shield is not required for a balanced connection. However, the two wires are arranged differently in the construction of these types of cables, and the way the circuit is set up is the real secret to setting up the balanced connection. Without getting too technical, the two signal wires carry the audio signal in opposite polarity. At the receiving end, these equal but opposite signals will sum together because the differential input within the receiving device responds only to differences in voltage between the two wires. This is called differential mode gain. Meanwhile, any noise that's induced onto the wires along the cable path will be equal in each wire with the same polarity. And because the differential input only responds to differences, the noise will be canceled. This is called common mode rejection. With a balanced connection, you can run audio over a very long distance, nearly 100 meters with almost no interference or signal degradation. I made a full video testing the limits of cable length that you can find linked in the description below. But in order to create a balanced connection, as I said before, you need to have a sending device and a receiving device that are compatible. And While an adapter will remap the connections from an unbalanced connector to a balanced connector, a DI box like the Radial Pro AV2 uses a transformer to properly connect the unbalanced circuit of the source device to the balanced circuit with the receiving device. The Radial Pro AV2 is a stereo DI box with all of the connections you'll commonly find on stereo playback devices. You've got stereo RCA, stereo 3.5mm TRS, and stereo TS connections. The Pro AV2 is a good solution when you need to connect a DJ mixer with unbalanced outputs or a presenter's laptop on stage. You connect the unbalanced device to the input side of the DI and then use 2 long XLR cables or the front of house snake to get those stereo signals to your mixer. As headphone jacks become increasingly less common though, you may find situations where you need to get the signal from a laptop or a smartphone digitally, because there may be no analog outputs on the device. One method that works well for a laptop is to use an audio interface. Any audio interface could work here, but if you're looking for a rugged option specifically intended for this purpose, the Radial USB Pro is built like a tank and offers some helpful features like output level control, mono summing, a headphone output, and a ground lift. It's a simple option that you can place in a lectern or under a table with a USB connection for the PowerPoint laptop or multimedia playback laptop. If the person on stage is using a smartphone and they don't have a headphone adapter for their device, you might choose to use the Radial BT Pro V2, which has the same features, level control, headphone output, mono switch, and ground lift, but acts as a Bluetooth receiver to receive audio from the smartphone wirelessly. Finally, if I'm taking audio from an analog source at front of house or backstage, let's say from the video crew, I like to set up the Radial Trim 2. This is similar to the Pro AV2 DI, but it gives me a trim control so that I can fine-tune the level before it hits the console. Again, the outputs on each of these devices are balanced, and that's almost sure to fix your problem if you've been experiencing noise when using an XLR adapter. But the benefit of using a DI to connect unbalanced devices goes beyond just the balanced connection. As I already mentioned before, you also get a mono sum button if you choose to use one of these interfaces, the USB Pro or the BT Pro V2. And this can be helpful to save channels on the mixer, especially if you usually run your PA system for events in mono anyway. It takes the stereo output from the source and sums the left and right channel into a single XLR output. There's another more important benefit of using a DI rather than an XLR adapter that could actually prevent you from inadvertently damaging your device, even if you're connecting your smartphone or laptop over a very short distance. I used to connect my smartphone via a simple 3.5mm to stereo XLR adapter, but if you accidentally send phantom power to the headphone output of a device like that, there's a chance that you could break it. In fact, I'm ashamed to say that I've destroyed the headphone output on 3 separate smartphones, and ever since then, I've decided to switch to either using a 3.5mm to dual TS adapter and using the designated stereo inputs when available, or when only microphone inputs are available, I use a stereo DI box like the Pro AV2. Phantom power is DC or direct current, so it can't travel through a transformer. Using a transformer isolated device like this will prevent phantom power from reaching my device, even if I accidentally turn on phantom power on those channels. Another benefit of the transformer is that it can potentially prevent ground problems, and the ground lift switches on these devices also help. Sometimes, especially when connecting several audio devices together, each connected to separate power sources, you can create ground loops, where a current circulates in a loop formed by multiple paths between the ground points of the devices, often resulting in audible hum, buzz, or other signal interference. But the biggest benefit of a DI box and the transformer inside is that it properly manages the level and impedance differences between the source and destination. Chances are your source is a high Z or high impedance device that outputs a hotter signal level than the low Z or low impedance microphone input on your mixer is designed for. The transformer steps down the voltage of the signal to an appropriate level, and because the output side of the DI is isolated from the high Z input side, the impedance mismatch problem of connecting high Z devices directly to low Z devices will be avoided. I've worked with several different companies throughout the course of my career, and all of them have used radial DIs. They're extremely reliable, the transformers sound great, and although you can't tell in this video, it's the type of device that just by holding it, you can tell it's well built by the weight and the feel of the controls. So I highly recommend investing in a solid device like this, especially if you'll be using it on stage or on tour. In the next video that's on your screen now, we'll take a closer look at the concept of impedance and the problems that arise when connecting high Z devices directly to low Z inputs. I'll see you there.